The Families of Couillardville lost a number of exceptional members over the course of the last year. Women and men who all epitomized the virtues of togetherness and helpfulness and friendliness that our community cherishes. Let's take a few moments and briefly consider the remarkable lives of the 7 good friends we lost since the last Machine Shed reunion. Barb Couillard. Just days after greeting her many friends at the 2014 Machine Shed reunion, Barb Couillard passed away at the Cherry Meadows Hospice, attended by her husband Ken and surrounded by her family. Barb was known for her wonderful smile, upbeat personality, consideration for others, and dedication to spreading happiness wherever she went. She will be sorely missed by everyone who knew her. Barb was born in Neenah and worked most of her career as a senior claims representative for Thrivent Financial. She was a pillar of strength at Appleton's Memorial Presbyterian Church, where she served as a deacon, usher, greeter, counter, and fellowship host over the years. Though she and Ken, her husband of 15 years, weren't blessed with children of their own, they both delighted in sharing the sons, daughters, and grandchildren of their previous marriages. She was a loyal companion to Ken and enthusiastically joined him in returning to Couillardville each year for the Machine Shed reunion. Barb was interred at the St. Margaret Mary Cemetery in Neenah. Those she left behind will always remember her as a very special woman who truly touched their lives in many important ways. Ellen and Dave Byer. It is hard to imagine a more poignant ending for a love affair that spanned more than 6 decades. On October 21, 2014, Ellen Mae Byer succumbed to cancer at her home in Oconto. Just 2 days later, David, her husband of 60 years, also passed away at home from a similar cause. Clearly, they couldn't bear to be separated, even in death, and God agreed. Ellen and Dave were born some 3 years apart in Menominee, Michigan during the darkest days of the Great Depression. After graduation from Stevenson High School in 1949, Dave launched an eclectic early career that included stints as a truck driver, roofer, and factory worker. After he and Ellen were married, they moved to the Couillardville area where they raised their 3 children. He became a farmer, worked for the Packer Land Packing, and retired as maintenance chief at Frigo Cheese. A family of deep faith, Ellen and Dave were longtime members of St. Patrick's Church in Stiles, where she served on several committees, managed the rummage hall, organized funeral dinners, ran the church picnic for many years, and was a member of the Christian Women's Club. He also was very active in church affairs. Both also were known as expert gardeners. In addition, Ellen was a member of the Homemakers Club and Dave a skilled woodworker. The priest who conducted their joint funeral service at St. Patrick's noted this was the first time he had held a service for a wife and husband at the same time. But having spent so much of their lives together, it was only appropriate that they join their ashes together for eternity. Philip Schmidt. Everyone who knew Phil Schmidt remarks upon his insatiable appetite for knowledge and new experiences. When he passed last winter, Couillardville and the Machine Shed reunion lost a solid citizen dedicated to family, community, and country. Though he and his wife Lucianne Tommy, who died in July 2014, spent much of their professional careers away from the area, they never lost their sense of connection to and affection for Couillardville. When they retired, they built a home on the original Tommy family farm. For some 18 years, they spent each summer there, returning to their second home in Arizona during the winter months. A native of Ladysmith, Wisconsin, Phil was an educator by training and temperament. Indeed, he met Lucianne where they both were teaching at Oconto. Phil went on to earn master's degrees in agronomy and later business at Madison. He and Lucy Ann then moved to Chicago, where Phil launched a 32-year career with the National Safety Council. They raised their 2 children, Perrin and Lene, there. Phil was widely known as an enthusiastic do-it-yourselfer, tinkerer, car and tractor collector, woodworker, gardener, musician, bibliophile. More importantly, he was a man of faith and a dedicated husband, father, and grandfather. We were blessed to have known him. Lorraine Conkle. Do the math and you'll find that Lorraine Conkle lived a remarkable 100 years, 9 months, and 29 days. And according to everyone who knew her, she didn't waste a minute of it. Lorraine Prohl was born in Milwaukee, where she married John Conkle in 1931. They ran a small farm on the southwest side of the city before relocating north to Couillardville in 1941. Their hard-working family eventually grew to an amazing 11 daughters and 5 sons, the largest family in the area. All the kids contributed to help make their farm on Stiles Road one of the most progressive and productive in the community. It also served for many years as a Couillardville bean station, handling contracts between the Larson Company and local farmers, collecting and weighing the beans come harvest time, and dispersing payments. After John's death in 1976, Lorraine continued to live on the farm for many years, in robust health until the end. Best of all, she had the satisfaction of welcoming her great-great-great-grandson into the family before the Lord finally called her home. She is interred at the cemetery at St. Patrick's Church in Stiles. Grace Carey Lutz. A quiet, dignified woman under normal circumstances, Grace Carey Lutz was known to display an entirely different aspect of her personality whenever the green and gold took the field. Seatmates at Packer games often nursed some sore knees after her vigorous pounding while cheering on the Pack. Grace Allen grew up in Little Swamico, where she lived until marrying Norbert Carey in early 1940 and moving to his family farm in Couillardville. Norb was already on his way to becoming a local icon as the milk truck driver. When his parents decided to move into Stiles, they turned the farm over to Grace and Norb, who operated it with great success until passing it along to their son Ron. After Norb's death in 1978, Grace spent the next 17 years single, living for a time with her sister Dorothy, very near Lambeau Field and her beloved Packers. At the age of 75, she met and married Joe Lutz. The happy couple spent almost 10 years together until his passing in 2004. Grace's greatest happiness was seeing her 5 children make great lives for themselves while enriching the Carey clan with 13 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. What better legacy can a devoted wife and mother leave to her community? James Jacart. Couillardville recently lost one of its best friends when Jim Jacart died at Unity Hospice in Green Bay. Jim sprang from one of the iconic Couillardville families. His grandparents, Joseph and Julia Jacart, arrived in Couillardville in 1903, establishing a very successful farm and raising 8 children. Their eldest son, Martin, and his wife, Eleanor Hannah, later took over the farm and produced 4 children of their own, Harold, Evelyn, Betty, and Jim. Harold, known as Psyche, was to become a Couillardville legend as a truck driver and then as a farmer. Jim had other fish to fry and established himself as an executive in the telecommunications industry over a career lasting almost 40 years. Jim married Teresa Schmidt of Marinette in 1950 and raised a family of 4 daughters and 4 sons. They eventually were blessed with 9 grandchildren and a great-granddaughter. An avid outdoorsman, Jim enjoyed hunting, fishing in his cabin in Marinette County. A man committed to improving his community, he was a member of the Knights of Columbus, Lions Club, and Telephone Pioneers of America. He also volunteered for the Red Cross and donated over 30 gallons of blood. Teresa and Jim were active members of St. John the Baptist Parish in Green Bay for many years. They now are interred together in the parish cemetery. Though he resided in Couillardville only during his youth, Jim never forgot the important lessons about family, faith, and community he learned here, and never missed an opportunity to return to renew old acquaintances and make new friends. And so we bid farewell to 7 wonderful people who did so much to make Couillardville the very special place that it has been. We regret their passing, but know they have gone on to an even better place, where we will all be rejoined in time. In the meanwhile,